China just deployed robots on its borders, and no, these aren't warehouse bots. These are weaponized, AI-powered, and built for war. But the scariest part? They're not alone. In 2022, villagers near the China-India border reported something strange. At first, they thought it was a wild animal crawling across the hills at night. But as it moved closer, they realized it wasn't alive. It wasn't even human. It was a machine. A robotic dog, four-legged, low-slung, with a mounted weapon glinting in the moonlight. It didn't make a sound, and it didn't stop moving. Reports were dismissed by state media, but satellite images from later that year told a different story. They showed unfamiliar patrol patterns near disputed zones, and analysts noticed something chilling: formations that were too clean, too regular, too robotic. Since 2020, China has poured over $20 billion into AI-driven combat systems. Their Ministry of National Defense calls it intelligentized warfare. But on the ground, it looks more like this: robots replacing soldiers, algorithms replacing decisions, and borders guarded not by men, but by machines. And here's the kicker: this isn't just some sci-fi experiment. These bots are already active in Xinjiang, Tibet, and the China-India line of actual control. But this isn't just about China's borders. It's about what happens when robots become soldiers, and the rest of the world falls behind. Let's break down what we're really dealing with. First, the Sharp Claw series, developed by Norinco, one of China's top defense contractors. These are compact, tracked combat robots equipped with surveillance systems, grenade launchers, and automatic rifles. Sharp Claw 2 can patrol independently or coordinate with other units, like a ground-based AI team. Then there are the robot dogs, eerily similar to Boston Dynamics' Spot, but militarized. Some are now being tested with mounted rifles or grenade launchers. Their job? Urban patrols, mountain warfare, crowd control, and don't forget the super soldier suits. Exoskeletons that give troops enhanced strength and endurance. These are already deployed in high-altitude regions where oxygen is scarce. It's not quite Iron Man, but it's getting there, and fast. Many of these machines operate with partial autonomy. Some are even trained to recognize specific human gestures and act accordingly. And if that sounds too advanced to be real, well, it's not. But what if I told you some of these machines are already making decisions without human input? In 2023, a leaked training simulation from a Chinese defense firm sparked outrage. The scenario? A surveillance drone lost contact with command, but instead of waiting, it took initiative. It scanned the target, processed a high threat probability, and fired. No human had told it to. No human stopped it. China dismissed it as an error in code, but international watchdogs weren't convinced. The United Nations has been warning about lethal autonomous weapons for years, but in this case, China seems more focused on speed, not safety. Their doctrine now emphasizes rapid response autonomy, meaning AI is encouraged to make decisions on its own in high-risk scenarios. Let that sink in. We're talking about machines that are not only allowed to pull the trigger, they're expected to. And here's where it gets geopolitical, because it's not just China preparing robot warriors. The AI arms race isn't coming. It's already here. In the US, the Pentagon's Project Maven uses AI to analyze drone footage in real time. Russia fields the Uran 9, a robotic tank that can operate semi-independently. India is working with DRDO to build its own fleet of AI drones. And South Korea? In 2023, they deployed anti-drone units after Chinese robots were spotted near the DMZ. The pace is blinding. Every nation that can afford it is investing in autonomous combat systems. But here's the problem. As machines become more capable, humans are stepping further back from the battlefield. But what happens when machines on both sides start thinking for themselves? Let's say an AI-controlled bot sees an unidentified object, maybe a drone, maybe a balloon, maybe a satellite. It scans the threat, gets no response. The algorithm calculates a high probability of danger. It engages. No generals, no soldiers, just lines of code, interpreting data. Now imagine that object was a weather satellite from another country, or a misidentified flock of birds. The robot doesn't know. It only sees patterns. This is the nightmare scenario. A war that starts by accident, because one machine misread the signs. China's military doctrine encourages machine learning under combat stress, which means these systems are constantly adapting, but not always correctly. So is there any way to stop it? Or is the AI arms race already too far gone? What you're not being told. Most people assume these robots are just for external defense. They're not. In Xinjiang, robotic units are being used for facial recognition, crowd surveillance, and emotional behavior detection. Yes, some bots are equipped with biometric scanners that analyze micro-expressions to predict potential dissent. One leaked memo from a Chinese robotics supplier bragged that their patrol bots could pre-identify suspicious individuals by movement patterns. This isn't about national security. It's about total control. By 2030, China plans to deploy over 150,000 robotic units across cities, borders, and high-risk zones. Not all of them will carry weapons, but many will watch, listen, and report. And if you've never heard of this robotic militia before, that's by design. And yet, most people have never even heard about this robot militia. Why the world isn't ready. There is no treaty, none, that regulates the use of AI in warfare. Not from the UN, not from NATO, not even from the G20. Meanwhile, developers in China, Russia, and the US are racing to create more advanced combat algorithms. They're not asking, should we? They're asking, can we do it faster? A 2024 Pew Research poll found that 72% of people in the West are deeply concerned about robot armies. But only 4 governments have proposed actual legislation. That's not just a gap, that's a vacuum. And China is filling it. So the question isn't if robots will fight, it's when, and who gets crushed first. If you think this doesn't affect you, think again. Airports are now testing AI drone scanners to track unusual movements in crowds. Facial recognition patrol bots are being marketed to private security firms in Europe. Governments around the world are looking at China and saying, we want that tech. And here's the million-dollar question. If robots fight wars, will humans still be drafted? Or will decisions about life and death be made by software? The future isn't 5 years away, it's already here. And it's watching us. Because ready or not, the robot future is already watching. So what do you think? Should countries ban robot soldiers? Or is this just the next evolution of warfare? Let us know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the world's strangest stories. Because the AI revolution is only just beginning. And remember, the scariest wars may not be started by men, but by machines, doing exactly what they were told.